Morning, everybody. How you doing? Good morning, everybody. All right. Energy in the room's awesome. It's great to see everybody. Welcome to our Success in Real Estate's first event of 2025. Best attendance ever. It's awesome to see everybody. We're excited about a big year. We got a really special guest that flew in late last night that's going to share a special message with you all today. So I'm excited you're here. I appreciate you all taking the time to invest in yourself and your business. I just had a conversation with somebody over here about how nobody gets together anymore with the boards and companies and sales meetings, but agents who take the time to invest in themselves and their business do more business and they get better. You work better with each other. So a big shout out. Give yourselves a big round of applause for taking the time to get here. Half the battle, I made a post about this the other day, is just showing up. So it's cold and it's gray and we're in Indiana, but you showed up and you've already won the day just for doing that. A couple quick shout outs. We got watch parties going on all over the place. Our Goshen office has got a watch party. Shout out to you guys, our Warsaw office. And then a good friend of mine, Eric Malmberg, messaged me late last night. He's got over 400 agents up in Minnesota, and he said, I'm going to send the link out. Get me the link. So a big shout out to all the RE/MAX Advantage Plus agents watching our show. We're fired up you're here. Got to get my clicker here. I have a few people that I really want to thank today. To put an event like this on, it takes a ton of work. And we had some very critical, wonderful sponsors that help us. As always, Hallmark Home Mortgage, who is here. If you're with Hallmark, please stand. Thank you for helping us make this event possible. Michelle and Tina and Mark and Seth. Seth's here somewhere. There he is. He's in the back. Thank you, guys. And we got Brock and the digital team always doing their thing, helping us out. Also, we're going to give a big shout out for the first time. Trademark Title is here helping us make this event possible. If you're with Trademark, stand up, please. I know Adam and Amy have been instrumental. They've all been very helpful in making this happen, so thanks for being here. And then obviously I want to thank Scott Kellenberger with the Home Warranty Inc. Here's Scott. He helped us make this happen. Events like this take a lot, and their support means the world, so I hope you'll support them in their business and with yours. So, I have a few other people to thank really quickly because I'd be crazy if I didn't. My team is amazing, and most of you know many of them, but I want to give them all a quick shout out. Jacqueline Myers, who's somewhere in here hiding. She's right here up front. Big shout out to Jacqueline. Hannah Hahn is in the back somewhere. Big shout out to Hannah. Melissa Schneider, she's up in the booth. Barb Davis Foster here. Shelly's in the back. Big thanks to you guys. And Kim Jenkins, who was our driver this morning for Q. Big shout out to her. Big shout out to Jason last night, who picked up Q late, I think at 11:30. So it takes a lot of effort to make these kind of things happen. So thanks to them. Thanks for you for taking the time to get here. Are you ready for a really big day? Okay. So I think I've told everybody this. I've been coaching and training agents for over 20 years, and one of the things I always run into is New Year's resolutions, business planning, you set goals. Everybody wants to accomplish things in their life. How many people get to the end of the day or the week and they just didn't get enough done? I should have done more. How many of you beat yourself up about it? Then you feel guilty and you start this cycle of not being productive. Well, being productive in this crazy business is most of the time all about our discipline and how we approach and attack our days. The freedom of our business is the main attractor to real estate, but the biggest problem agents have is handling all the freedom. You don't have to show up if you don't want to, and not many are going to say anything to you. So today is all about time management, productivity, and Q is going to talk to us about his Perfect 168, which is going to be an amazing system for you to take a little look at, and I guarantee you he's going to blow the glass ceiling off what you think you can accomplish in life. So I got a few things I want to say about this guy. Quintavious Burdette, known as Q, grew up in Mississippi and learned early on to work harder than everyone else to stand out. By his junior year in high school, he had earned scholarships in football and track. He attended the University of Mississippi, or Ole Miss, from 2012 to 2017. He played football and track. This is in the SEC, y'all. That's legit. After a brief stint with the Big Four accounting firm in Atlanta, Q returned to Mississippi in 2019 to pursue real estate, leveraging his high-energy personality. In his first 5 years, he built relationships that helped him close over 1,000 transactions in 5 years. In 2021, he sold 307 homes, becoming the #2 RE/MAX agent in the entire United States based on closed transactions, and he achieved the pinnacle status, which is over $2 million in GCI just for that year. He was the #2 agent worldwide for transactions in 2022 and surpassed $2 million in GCI again in a small market in Mississippi and Tennessee. He now owns 50 rental properties and 22 Amazon trucks. Q used commissions to earn and grow residual income of over $100,000 a month in just 3 years. Additionally, Q competed in the 46th season of Survivor, making it to 6th place. In case you hadn't heard, he was on that show called Survivor. So I hope you will all join me in bringing Q to the stage. He's going to bring the heat, and it's going to be a great day. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So thank y'all. First and foremost, I always like to start by just thanking the crowd. Because look, if I was in this room by myself, it would not be as fun. It's up to you guys to actually show up and make this event happen, not me. I have to be here. In a sense, you don't. So congratulations to y'all for actually showing up and making this thing possible. I know what some of you guys are wondering. He just gave you my bio, so maybe not so much now, but who is this country Mississippi guy who doesn't speak well on our stage right now in a hoodie? Yeah, I know, that's what we're thinking. Well, I'm here to tell you guys and share my story and what I've found to be my best practices to allow me to continue to grow within my business. So where do I begin? Well, I take myself back 30 years ago. On March 8th, 1994, 9 months prior to that date, I was my dad's 4th mistake. And I know you're probably wondering why I call it my 4th mistake, his 4th mistake. And I think as he was coming out, he was thinking about his 5th mistake, because I have a sister who's 1 month younger than me. I'm one of 17 kids. Let's start there. Yeah, wow. If you're ever driving in Mississippi and you see a red pickup truck, get out the way. That's my dad. He cannot pull out of a driveway, I promise, okay? You'll get it here in a minute. But being one of 17 kids, it taught me a lot early on. Every single day in my household, there was a celebration or a fight. Either I woke up and I ate somebody's honey bun, or there was somebody's birthday, or somebody made an A on a test, or somebody scored a touchdown or a basket. So we had to fight or celebrate almost every single day. It was awesome. But some days, it wasn't so awesome. Like the days my dad would cook and put the food on the stove. And my dad's the type of guy, he works a lot. So he wakes up early, he cooks, he put the food on the stove, and he gets out the way. Well, whoever wakes up first, they have the option. You know, they can look out for the team of everyone else and just eat their proportion, or they can take it all. And I had one brother, he's selfish. And he's the only brother to this day, and I understand now why. He's about this tall, about this wide, and if he woke up before you, he would eat everything. I'm talking about he didn't leave you one crumb. All right, so that taught me early on that I had to wake up early. I had to be energized. I had to be the first one at the table because there was only 6 seats. With all of us, you had to take turns eating. I wanted to eat first. I wanted to make sure when I woke up, I had an option to choose what I put into my body versus just leaving over what's left over, okay? So then, in my small town, there's not many that has gone on to play football. We've had a lot of talent that come to this little small town, but they just couldn't put it together. So I had a dream that I wanted to be one of the first in my community to go to college and play ball in the SEC. What did I have to do? When I was 9, 10 years old, I was different. And instead of asking for video games and shoes and all the nice things that kids normally ask for Christmas, I wanted a parachute. No, not the one you fly in the sky. That's cute, right? I'm talking about the parachute where you strap it around your waist and you go outside and you run against the wind. It gets you faster. I was the kid that strapped ankle weights around my ankles and I would jog around the city. I don't care if it was cold, hot, raining, snowing. I was out there doing it because I understood in order for me to stand out in a small market, a small place, I had to be different. I'm the first person in my family. And when I say my family, I mean brothers, sisters, mom, dad, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins to go to college. Ever. And now after me, everyone who's younger than me has attempted to go. Now, not all of them has gone and finished, but at least now it's an attempt. They're thinking. And my job today is to get you guys thinking what's possible. So let's talk about my journey through college up until when I got involved with real estate. I majored in accounting. Raise your hand if you know an accountant in the room. You should probably call and check on them. They're not doing okay right now, I promise. You know, it's busy season, it's boring as crap, but that was me 6 years ago. Moved to Atlanta from small town Mississippi. I'm in a big city now. I've been driving since I was 10 years old. When you're one of 17 kids, you do everything a lot sooner, okay? But I was driving when I was 10 years old, 4 or 5 miles to the grocery store. We used to drive to school and park across the street at the doctor's office, and they're looking like, is that a kid getting out of that car? Yeah, an adult kid that has 13 other siblings at home that he's babysitting and taking care of. I think I can do this. But then you put me in Atlanta, and I'm driving 3 or 4 miles, and it's taking me 55 minutes. I lost my mind. Could not take it. I was ready to go home. But I didn't leave there. I was like, you know what? I can deal with it. I found an alternate route. There was no alternate route. There was one way, downtown. But then they put me into the office. I started there in October. I was gone by January. And let me tell you why. The first of the year, these companies, they like to have their last year review. And they were showing me all of the billing reports of what they were billing the clients for the work that we were doing. So I saw a bunch of $400 an hour, $500 an hour, $600 an hour. I'm like, good gracious. They paying me 70 grand to be here for the year. And they're charging folks $500 an hour for the stuff that we're doing. So I did quick math, and I was like, you know what? They've made my salary within the first 3 to 4 weeks of me actually working here. So I went back to my desk after that meeting, and I Googled, what profession can I make what I'm worth? Real estate popped up. Insurance popped up. All these different industries popped up. But then a video also showed up on my screen. And it was a guy who said, how to make 100 grand in your first year in real estate, door knocking, cold calling, just talking to people. My eyes lit up. I was so excited. The very next morning, I put a 2-week notice in and quit the job. I didn't think. It was reaction. I was too excited. Then I called home and I told my mom, hey, I put a 2-week notice in, I'm moving back home. I'm getting my real estate license. Keep in mind, I know nothing about real estate at this time, okay? I'm as green as they come, I promise. I was that dumb kid, I didn't know anything. I was so dumb, and I'll go back to the story, I didn't even know RE/MAX was a real estate firm. I thought it was an accounting firm, and I'll tell you why. Sammy Knight, he owns our RE/MAX. And before I left to go to KPMG in Atlanta, he wanted me to come and work for his RE/MAX and do the accounting. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm going with the big leagues. I'm going to Atlanta. I ain't dealing with RE/MAX. Then when I was coming back, I called Sammy because I knew he was involved in a whole lot. I said, hey, Sammy, I'm looking to get involved with real estate. Can you point me in the right direction? He was like, oh, yeah, Q, you can come and work at my RE/MAX. And I'm thinking, here this guy goes again with this RE/MAX talk. Is he not hearing me? I want to get involved with real estate, not accounting. And he was like, no, Q. RE/MAX is a real estate company. And I was like, Step into my office. Tell me about it. Tell me more. He started to talk about it. I was like, you know what? I'll sign here. But going backwards, I called mom and told her I put a 2-week notice in. And she wasn't excited. She wasn't mad. She asked one question. Have you called your dad? Moms, answer this. Why are you always asking us if we've talked to dad as if he's the boss? I'm an adult now, okay? He's not the boss of me. But no, I haven't called my dad. And how about this? You don't call him. Let me call him. She respected it. But what I know is if I'm halfway home, my dad, he ain't gonna tell me to turn around, right? So I waited. I went all the way home, packed all my stuff, and I started driving home. I waited until I was about an hour and 30 minutes from home. I called my dad, told him what happened, and he told me, I'm proud of you. And I was shocked because I thought he was gonna make me drive 3 hours back. And he was like, whatever you think you can do, I have belief in you, go for it. But he reminded me, I'm one of 17 kids. I don't have a bed at his house. Oh, snaps. Now my plan is not going the way I thought it would. I thought I was gonna go home and smooch and have just a nice free bed to live in. Dad was gonna continue to cook. And now I'm old enough now where I can get up early and beat all the other kids to the table and eat. No, not today, sir. So what did I do? I had to get a apartment in Memphis, and I only had $6,000 left to my name at this point in time. All right, I was not at KPMG long, and my car note was $483. And you might ask, how do you remember? Well, when you're broke, you remember everything. Let me just tell you. So it was $483 for my car note. My apartment that I got, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, a living room and a kitchen. The living room did not have a light that hung from the ceiling. I had to plug a lamp in and put it in the corner to light up my living room. It was $908. I'm like, what a scam. Here I am having to pay it because that's the cheapest thing I can find. So now my bills, I probably have 4 months before things are happening. So I get back home and I watch the video again, how to make $100,000 in your first year in real estate. And I thought to myself, if this guy on the screen, who is not as cute as me, not as athletic, not as young, if he can make $100,000 and he's telling folks how to do that, I can do 500. I can times 5 it. I'm naive, I'm green, I'm dumb. I don't understand how the business works, remember? So I started telling everybody, I'm gonna make $500,000 my first year in real estate. I'm gonna make $500,000 my first year in real estate. I didn't know how many properties it would take to do that. I didn't know what I needed to do. I just knew I had to spread that rumor because folks would start talking about it at least. So then I took the course in Mississippi. And let me just tell you this. If you ever thinking about moving to Mississippi, don't do it. Just send a referral because it takes them forever to process anything. So moved back home, took the course immediately, passed the test immediately, and I'm waiting for a license. So what did I do? The very first thing that I did in real estate was I broke the law. Not the law, the real estate law, the advertising law, you know? Because I didn't have a license, but I was ready to get started because I was going broke. I had to try to make something happen. So I printed up a flyer, and it said, real estate agent coming soon. I had my bio and how I'm the best agent for them and how they should use me. And I went to town, knocking doors to pass them out. Going into grocery stores, passing them out. And I get a call from my broker. This is where this story always pisses me off because I think back to it, I'm just like, dude, come on. So I get a call from my broker, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm excited because I'm thinking he's asking like, hey, are you out there working? Are you out there doing stuff? I'm excited to tell him I am. So I'm like, I'm passing out flyers. He was like, yeah, I know. I'm getting calls left and right. You can't do that. I was like, what do you mean I can't do that? You don't have a license yet. You're not a real estate agent. What you're passing out will get you in trouble, will get me in trouble. So I'm thinking to him, I said, well, man, I've been here 3 months. I don't have my license yet. I'm going broke. What can you do to help me? What pisses me off is he was like, let me make a phone call. 2 days later, my license was at the office. And I'm thinking to myself like, well, shit, you couldn't make that phone call 3 months ago? I had to break the law for you to get involved? Come on, Todd wouldn't have done that, I know. I know you wouldn't have. But now I'm licensed, and I'm so excited, I'm legal now, I can really go to town, right? So I doubled down on the craziness. Started telling everybody, 500 grand my first year. And everybody in my office who had been in the business 10, 15, 30 years started to tell me how impossible that is for a brand new agent. And I was like, wow. If I listened to them and believed them, they would kill my dream. Because what they were telling me is their limitations, what they could not do, why they could not do it the way that I was saying that I wanted to do it. Oh, they was telling me everything. You have to have a CRM. You have to have this many people in your CRM. You have to have this many people on your team. Blah, 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 blah. It was a whole bunch of things that I didn't have. And to be honest, I'm glad that I was dumb and naive at the time because I really didn't even understand what they were saying. So their limitations on me just was kind of like, whew, I don't get that, I don't understand that. Now, if I take myself back 6 years and they tell me all that, now that I understand how the business works, I probably would have believed them. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. But so I say that to say everyone else's goals and aspirations and visions that they have for you is all bullshit because they don't know who you are as a person. So what did I do? I heard all of the naysayers. I heard all of the you can't, you shouldn't, and the reasons why, which at the time sounded nice and great. I just continued to do what I do. My first 30 days licensed, I talked to over 6,000 people. There was over 200 folks every single day. I was destined to prove everybody wrong that it could happen and it will happen. But I got nothing out of it. 30 days passed by, over 6,000 people, not one deal. Most folks would have tucked their tail and said, you know what, this is not for me, it's not working, let me figure out something else. But what I want to challenge you guys to do is, if you're in real estate today, make real estate your plan A. That's plan A. And for everything else, plan B, C, D, whatever, some of y'all got all the way to Z. You're planning too much, if you ask me. But burn the ship. Get rid of plan B, C, D, and focus directly on plan A. Because when you do that, it allows you to feel like when it's not going so well, now my back is up against the wall. I don't have anywhere else to go but forward. If you have all these plan Bs and Cs, now your mind starts to trick you into thinking, well, maybe I should just go to plan B. Let's get rid of that crap. No, real estate is what's going to work for all of us. I promise. So what did I do? The next month I said, you know what? I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go out again. I'm going to hear all these no's again. I got addicted to hearing no. Seriously. And I got comfortable with hearing no. And then by day 60 of being licensed, my very first year, I look up, I have 10 closings on the board. And I'm like, well, wow, this works. I started to do the math. If all of these close, I'm going to make what? Oh, wow. Let me double down on the bullshit then. Let me go to Kroger and let me fill my basket up with groceries I don't intend on paying for. You know, that's what I was doing, and we'll talk about exactly what it is here in a sec. But then, fast forward my very first year of having a license in real estate, I sold 106 houses. And I reached my goal of 500 grand in Mississippi, where the average price point was 200 grand. There was no excuse to be made. Fast forward then, I always have to have a prove it year. I have to do something, and then I have to prove why exactly it worked. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna do 500 grand. And now you're talking about year 3, the year that he's talking about, is the first year I actually hit pinnacle. How did that happen? Well, I'm in Vegas, I'm speaking, I'm excited, and there's a guy from California, all these Californians, I hate them. They think they're the best, right? Well, this guy, he proceeded to tell me and 3 other folks at the table that he hit pinnacle. I was like, what is that? And he told me, I was like, oh, awesome, that's nice. You know, I'm gonna try to hit Titan this year. This is my 3rd year now. We're at R4, it's like March, and my goal is Titan. He was like, yeah, man, Titan is awesome for a guy in Mississippi. I don't think anybody could ever hit pinnacle in that part of the country. And I was like, hold on, man. What you mean? You don't think anybody can do it? So at that point in time, I shifted all of my focus. My focus was to prove him wrong and to prove everyone else around me what is possible. So I went back home, I drafted up a plan. What was my plan? I used to leave my office for buyers, sellers. Hell, I leave my office to just go change a light bulb if it got me some attention. I didn't care. But I switched it up. I said, you know what? I'm only going to leave my office for sellers, for listings. And I was making a whole bunch of calls. I was door knocking a whole bunch of neighborhoods. So to stop all that meant it was a risk. I was going into new territories that I really didn't understand. But I understood that it took me 30 minutes to get to any house to show within my marketplace. It took me 30 minutes to maybe show the house, and then 30 minutes to potentially to get back. That's an hour and a half. In an hour and a half's time, I can talk to another 40, 50 people. If I just do that over and over and over again, I might get lucky. Then I also had to change who I was calling. I used to call everybody, 1 house, 2 house, 350. Then I changed it to, I'm only going to call folks who owns 10 or more properties. And you might ask, well, Q, how do you get that data? It's real free and simple. The tax assessor. I go to the tax assessor, I put the tax assessor in alphabetical order, and it shows me who owns what. I count them up. Once I get to somebody who owns 10, let me call Jack. I call Jack and I ask Jack a real simple question. If they're looking to add more to their portfolio or get rid of their portfolio, I made a list. Then I would go to the next person. So I had this long list of folks who wasn't willing to sell anything, but was willing to buy. And then I got lucky. Came across a guy, had 71 properties. He's ready to get rid of everything. And I have this list of folks who's ready to buy everything. You know what I did? I broke my finger trying to hang up the phone to start dialing these folks to try to put this deal together. Fast forward 5 hours later, every single property he had was sold to somebody on this list, off-market deal. I'm the only agent, 11 million at 6%. And now I'm thinking, uh-oh, this guy in California, he's in trouble. If I get a couple more of these, I'm on my way. I got excited, I got addicted. So I started calling more and more. I grew this list longer, then I came across another guy, 85 doors, 15 million. And you're guessing it right. I'm the only agent, and I put the deal together off market, closed within 45 days, 15 million, 6%. And now I'm thinking, I know the guy in California is in trouble now. Because now it's only like July. And I have 5 more months to try to make this happen. Oh, let me just double down on the bullshit then. Continue to call. I grew this list a lot longer. And then I came across another guy in August that put me way over the top of Pinnacle, 55 doors. And he had some Class A properties. Put the deal together, off market again. And it was like, you know what? I have my system now. I have what I do best. I'm going to continue that. But before I got to that point, the first year grinding it out to sell 106 houses, I was in the grocery stores. I just kind of hinted at it. And I was in the grocery store being the most annoying person you would ever meat in a grocery store. And you might ask, well, how? How was you doing that? Well, if you're getting grapes, I'm getting grapes. I'm getting the opposite grape as you, and I'm asking you questions about why are you picking up those grapes? And my sole purpose of picking up the grapes is to give you a business card at the end of our conversation. Then I would go to the milk aisle. You pick up whole milk. Gross. Cannot digest that. I pick up 2% milk. I don't even drink milk. But we're talking about why you think whole milk is better than this and this. And here we go. We're having a fun conversation. I go to the ketchup aisle. You pick up ketchup, I pick up mustard. We're going to talk about this thing. But every single time, every single place I went, I made it intentional of I'm going to meet brand new people. Every single time. There's no question about it. It wasn't until Kroger started to kick me out. And they wasn't kicking me out because of, people started to complain. They started to pick up on, this guy's filling up his cart full of groceries, not purchasing and not putting anything back. So that was my mistake. I should have probably just put all the groceries back, right? Maybe I should have bought them. I don't know. But Kroger started to stop me at the door. No, not today, sir. I said, I'm grocery shopping for real today. I got my card. So they followed me around, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with Kroger. I'm just going to do it in the parking lot. So I started helping folks put their groceries in the car. But what I was doing is growing my database without even having one. I was a brand new agent. I didn't know anything. So what helped me continue to grow? We're going to talk about it today. The perfect 168. What does that mean? The only thing that separates you from the person you're sitting next to, from me, from Todd, from anybody else in this room, is the way you view and use your 168. We all have the same opportunity every single day. The same opportunity. 168 hours. Have you used your 168 to ensure that you have a life outside of real estate, because that is very important, and that you're using the time that you have left over for real estate in the most productive way possible? So I travel now, and we talk about it, and we break it down, and I always find that there's no one in the room who's actually living up to their full potential. And this shit changes today, because we're going to go over it. We're going to go through it. And you're going to be real with yourself. And you don't have to share, but I'm going to ask at least 2 people to share. And now, typically how it goes, if we have a volunteer, the people who really don't want to share, you're safe. It's almost like Survivor, right? You have an idol or you win immunity, you're safe. But if we don't have volunteers, my, now I have to close my eyes and stop. And it might be you that's sharing your 168. So now you have to convince at least 2 people to raise their hand, okay? So let's start at the top. And I want you guys to write this stuff down, write it out. Because nothing sucks more than to not write it and then to be called upon and then have to backtrack. It's embarrassing. So we start with 168 at the top of the page. And we're going to 0, hopefully. And I ask folks, how many hours do you want to sleep? Sleep is very important. Every single day, how many hours of sleep do you need? 6 hours, 7, 8, 10 hours? I will say if you sleep in 10 hours, you're lazy as shit. But hey, it's not my schedule. It's yours. I can't judge. What's that trend? We listen and we don't judge. Okay? So if you sleep 10 hours, put it in your schedule. It's okay. Multiply that by 7, of course, and subtract it from your 168. And every single thing that we're going to talk about right now is non-negotiable. We do this every single day, regardless of what else is happening. So we have to sleep every single day. Gym time. How much time are you spending in the gym? taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Or if you don't go to the gym, how much time are you spending walking up and down your driveway? I don't care what it is. 30 minutes a day? An hour? 2 hours? Anybody training more than 2 hours in a room? Raise your hand. What the hell are you training for? Marathon? Ironman workout? I don't know. But look, it's your schedule. Go train. Put it in there. Family time. That's important, right? How much time do you need every single day with your family? If you have kids, you're picking them up from school, dropping them off, helping them with their homework, just hanging out with them, I hope. How much time are you spending doing that every single day? Or you want to spend doing it? 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day? I think that's important. Multiply that by 7. And same thing with the gym, multiply it by however many days that you're working out. Hopefully we're doing something, at least 30 minutes a day, every day. But again, no pressure. Personal time is next. And if I need to slow down, just tell me. Personal time. That's the time you spend with yourself or just doing whatever it is that you feel like you want to do. Ladies, you want to get your nails done, your hair done. Oh, yeah. That's that personal time. You want to just go hang with your girls, get a coffee, watch your favorite show, watch Survivor on Wednesdays. Guys, want to go play pool, go hunting, go fishing, sit in a cold tub. I don't know what else men do here. But whatever it is, it's your personal time to do it. Subtract that from your 168 as well. We all should have a number now, right? Of what's left over. Before we go on, I want to remind you, everything that's in your schedule right now is non-negotiable. You have to do it. This is what keeps you sane. This is what keeps you happy. Now, write a big 40 on the page. Because now, we're going to acknowledge the time that we spend on bullshit. You have 40 hours a week now for BS. That's to mingle and hang out around the office, to be on your social media, whatever else that you guys do here for BS time. You have 40 hours of it. There's no excuse for you not to have a life outside of real estate. Now, this is where the volunteers come in place. Again, it only takes 2 for it not to be you. If I don't get 2, I have to close my eyes and stop and point. So I need 2 volunteers that's willing to now tell me how much time that they have left over. I have, look at this, 2 right here. Good gracious. We'll start with whoever's closest to the mic. Todd in the back, right there next to you. Well, that's fine too.
Hi.
Hello.
I have 43 hours for bullshit.
You have 43 hours before bullshit?
No, leftover.
Leftover, right? Perfect. And it's everything you can think of. Keep the mic because we're going to keep talking about it. It's everything that you can think of in your schedule above. You got enough time for sleep, right?
Yep.
You got enough time for your gym time, workout, walking, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
Family time. You feel like you have enough time?
Yep.
What about personal time?
I mean, I did 15 hours because
Hey.
nails and lashes and such. You
That's
know?
fine.
Yep.
Hey, do your thing, boo.
Okay.
So 15 hours a week for lashes and hair and everything else. And then you have, on top of that, the 40 hours of BS time, just in case you miss something, right?
Right.
43 hours left over. Have to ask you, are you more sellers or buyers?
I'm a title company.
You're a title company.
Yeah. I'm a closer.
Okay, you're a closer.
I go wherever people tell me.
All right, perfect. We can do this for you as well. I'm calculating things in my head as I talk, but then I came up with the answer very quickly. So you do buyers and sellers, all of the same. You have agents. I have to ask now, productive time versus non-productive time. In the title world, how much of your time is spent towards seeking new opportunities, meaning to meet new agents, what you say? Is it 50% of your time, 60% of your time?
I would love to say 50, but I would say it's probably more like 10.
10% of your time is spent
real.
towards that? And are you saying it's 10% of your time because that's all that you have left, you think?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so that's perfect. That's okay. That's okay. So we'll use your example, title company, of 10% of your time is now spent for productive activity, and then 90% is the non-productive activity stuff. Now, I don't know how to define what is non-productive in your world, but I do know how to define it in my world, which I'll explain to them here in a sec. But for you, for instance, you have now 4 hours and some change every single week that you should be spending trying to meet brand new agents who've never, ever, ever sent you a deal. Have you spent 4 hours every single week doing that?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
So she's an example of somebody who's done it perfectly. She's using her time wisely.
Say that one more time.
She's somebody who's doing it perfectly. So you ought to send her some deals. But let's get an agent, because this is what I'm used to going through with agents, talking through their schedules. It's a lot more to it. I don't understand the business of a title company. We have agent here, I think that raised their hand.
So I have 20 hours left over.
20 hours left over, right? Okay. Are you more sellers or buyers?
Both.
You're 50-50, you would say.
Yeah, I'm brand new. I'm brand new.
That's okay.
I
That's
don't
okay.
actually have
Brand new
one.
agents get it done too. Trust me. I was there once. How many days out of the week do you want to work?
6.
6 days. So 20 divided by 6, how much time does that give you every single day? Probably gotta do the math real quick. A little over 3 hours a day.
Okay. Okay. 3 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So it's about 3 hours and 12 minutes to be exact.
Okay.
All right. So 20 hours left over, 6 days a week is what you have. You're 50-50. So now what you have to do is break your time down more closer to the 40% for productive activity, 60% for non-productive activity. What is the difference? You're talking about productive activity, non-productive activity. I'm always productive, right? That's what we're thinking. But we have to change how we view these things. So non-productive activity is everything you do after you get the business. Writing a contract is non-productive activity. Showing up by your house is non-productive activity. Checking an email is non-productive activity. Putting a sign in the yard, non-productive activity. Putting a lockbox on, regardless of what it is. But it's what continuously make our business go round and round and round, right? We can't not have that non-productive activity time. That is perfect. The time that is also now, remember, everything before that 40, it was non-negotiable. The other time that's also non-negotiable is your productive activity hours. It's everything you do before you get the business. It's what continuously drive your business this way. Because most agents, what happens is they get their database, they get their set group of folks that they're working with, and then they stop. They don't think about being productive anymore, and they're so consumed at all the non-productive activity stuff that they see their business do this. Psh, psh, psh. We want to get rid of that. So for for 3 hours and 12 minutes a day, if she's breaking her time down 50-50, she has about an hour and 36 minutes every single day for 6 days out of the week. And she's actually more buyer, she's even, so it's actually 40-60. So it's right at an hour and 5 minutes a day that she has to work on productive activity. In that hour and 5 minutes, she should be meeting anywhere from 10 to 15 brand new people every single day for 6 days out of the week. And I'm gonna ask you, since you've been in the business, have you met 10 to 15 brand new people every single day? So she's not using her productive activity hours the way it should be. But you're not the only one, I promise you. If everyone else was to break down their time right now, and let's say, for instance, regardless, if you're more sellers than you are buyers, you just break your time down 50-50. You can spend more time on productive activity, spend less time on non-productive activity if you're more sellers. The buyers is what take up most of the time. So when you do that and you ask yourself, okay, I have 3 hours now of productive activity. And for y'all who don't know, if you have 3 hours, you should be meeting anywhere from 30 to 50 brand new people in 3 hours. Are you doing that every single day that you're committed to work? If you're not reaching your full potential. And if you're not, when are you going to start? It's not easy to sell 300 properties. It's not easy to sell 50. But I can promise you this, if you don't focus on the family aspect of your time, everything before the 40 hours of bullshit, and the productive activity hours, you will never have enough time to do your non-productive hours because you won't have anything to be non-productive on. We have to change the way we think. And how do I keep track of it all? How do I say, you know what? I got my perfect schedule. I've broken it down. I understand what it is that I'm needing to do. How do I use my productive activity hours? Well, I'll give you a couple. If you don't like talking on the phone, fine, perfect. If you don't like door knocking, fine, perfect. If you don't like posting on social media, fine, perfect. You have to figure out what it is that you like to do to generate business. And if it's nothing, hang your license up and do nothing then. But you have to be willing to do something that is boring, that no one else wants to do. If you're calling folks, stick to these 5 points right here. And it's easy, I promise. What do? Step 1, I ask for the person. I want to make sure whoever's name is popping up on that screen when I'm calling, that it's them. So we start with ask for the person. But when you understand and know that when you call someone and they say hello, they can only be one of 4 people. Only one of 4 people. They can be the name of the person you're calling. They can own the address of the home that you're calling about. Or they can own a house here in the state. Or they can want to own a house here in the state. And we just go down there until we get a yes. And it goes a little something like this. Hey, can I speak with Susie? Yes. Okay, we go to step 2. No, this is not Susie. Awesome. Is this the owner of 105 Falcon Street? No. Do you own a house here in Mississippi? No. Do you want to own a house here in Mississippi? We ask those 4 questions. The first time we get a yes, we go on to step 2. So step 1, ask for the person. Under step 1, start with the name. If it's not the person's name, go to the address. If it's not their address, ask me if they own a house here in the state. And if they don't, try to get them to buy some. Do you want to own something here in the state? Any yes, move on to step 2. All 4 no's, we get off the phone and we move on to somebody else. Step 2, introduce yourself. Short and sweet. I cannot get on the phone and say, this is Quintavious Burdette with Remax Experts, Germantown, Tennessee. They're going to hang up on me. I wasn't blessed with an easy name. That's why I changed it to Q. Real short and sweet, right to the point. Within the same breath, you have to hit step 3. Neutralize the conversation. Here I am forgetting. Step 3 is give back to the time. It's the most important thing you can do on a phone call. Hey, it's now a good time for you. Step 4 is neutralize the conversation. And that's the hardest part of a call. Seriously, it is. And what does that mean? If I'm calling you about potentially selling your house or you buying a property, I need to neutralize the conversation, meaning I have to try to relate to you in some way very, very fast. So what do? I say, hey, you know what? Ole Miss, this year we missed the playoffs in football. Do you think Lane Kiffin can get it going next year and we make it? Hey, the Grizzlies, Ja Morant, he's back in action. Do you think the Grizzlies need to bring in another superstar to help Ja Morant out? And a lot of folks might think, well, Q, I'm not a sports person. I cannot talk about sports. Okay, that's fine. I got something for you. I'm asking folks, taking a quick survey, are you a cat person or a dog person? And they're gonna be like, wait, what? Are you a cat person or a dog person? Just repeat yourself. Oh, I like cats more than I like dogs. Or I like dogs more than I like cats. Regardless, it's just something to bring their wall down just slightly. And then step 5, we have to get to the point. Why are you calling? We cannot sit there and talk about Ole Miss football forever. We cannot sit there and talk about the Memphis Grizzlies or cats and dogs, for God's sake. Good gracious. Cannot do it. We have to get to the point. The only rule to step 5 is you can't use the words buy and sell. It's a turnoff. People don't want to hear it. So what do you say? It's real simple. Hey, I'm calling to see if you guys have thought about maybe adding more to your portfolio. And use the word portfolio. Now they're thinking to themselves, ooh, I have a portfolio. It's a nice way. Ask them if they want to buy another property. Or, hey, have you guys thought about getting rid of anything within your portfolio? Or if you're calling a one offer, meaning they only own one house, you know, hey, have you guys thought about potentially upsizing, downsizing, have the family size changed to where you need more space, less space? That's a question they have to answer versus just saying, hey, have you guys thought about selling your house? No. Maybe they haven't thought about they need less space now, more space. So we just ask that question in that manner. And what keeps me going and doing it is my ability to go out every single week, every single day, and get 4 points. I started this 4-point thing my second year in real estate, and that's when I really started to see my business grow, when I was holding myself accountable to get 4 points. So what is it? Let's talk about it. A contract is worth 4 points, okay? And if for all you who don't really know, the 4-point system was built on the game of football. It has the same logic as football, all right? And I'll tell you why in a sec. I had to create a game within myself when I was done playing that measured my success, but also gave me something to do every single day. Because it's 4 points a day, period. And the great thing about it is some days I come in the office and I only get 4 points. And then some days, there's some raggedy agent in my marketplace who pissed me off. And I go in my office and I try to run it up 40, 50, 60 points. So if you're in my office place and you really want to piss me off, just say something like, oh, Jessica sold more houses than you last week. Oh, we'll see about that, Jessica. And then I go in my office and I go crazy. I'm the guy in the building. I crank up my loud music in the back. I'm in there yelling, let's go! Because I want everybody else to know that he's in here working, and he wants you to know, and there's nothing you can do about it. My broker comes back there sometimes, hey, Q, we're getting complaints in the front. Can you quiet down? And I'm like, dude, you're the same guy who let me go 3 months before you got my license. Tell them to leave the building, because I'm not going anywhere. That's me. I'm that annoying agent, okay? But 4 points every single day is the goal. 4 points a contract. You get 2 points for a listing agreement. And a lot of folks always ask, Q, do we get points for the listing appointment? What if we go on the listing appointment and they don't sign? Do we get the 2 points? If your favorite team is lined up for a field goal, 2 seconds left, down 2 points, and this little janky kicker misses, did you win the game or lose? You lost. So you don't get points for attempts, baby. You have to get the dang thing signed and sealed with you being the agent, okay? Buyers. You get 1 point per buyer. And I was asked, Q, do we get 1 point per house that we show the buyer? I wish it was that easy. I wish in the game of football we got 1 point for every single play we ran. So I asked folks, if your team scores on the first play of the game, how many points is that? 6. If it takes them 13 plays to score, how many points is that? 6. So you get 1 point per buyer. I don't care if you show them 1 house or 50. But the buyers represent a game, a new game. So for every new buyer you have, you get a point for them every time you take them out and show them, every single time. And then my favorite point, because it's the no excuse point, it's everybody can do this point, it's the half a point. You get a half a point for meeting potential customers or clients that you're looking to do business with within 90 days. That's somebody to say, you know what? When my kid graduates college and it's January, or they graduate high school, we might be looking to sell or buy. Well, I can pull out my calendar and say, well, they normally graduate in May. That's about 90 days from now, right? I get a half a point for that conversation. They don't have to do anything. Just the conversation of them being a potential. You get a half a point. So I know it's not realistic to say, oh, I'm gonna get a contract every single day. Oh, I'm gonna get 2 listing agreements every single day. Oh, I'm gonna show 4 different buyers. But there's a combination of all of that that shall allow you to get 4 points. And if everything else fails, go out there and talk to 8 people. Find 8 folks in your marketplace that's looking to do something in 90 days. And a lot of agents say, well, Q, that's hard. It's really not hard when you ask the title company, have you ever had a day where you did not have 1 closing on the board? Ask multiple title companies. I guarantee you they tell you no. You know why? Because people are buying and selling houses in this marketplace every single day. You just didn't spend the time trying to get to know them and find them. So now you have a purpose. To go out there and try to meet 8 people. And who cares if you're the annoying one? Let me tell you what I do to be annoying. I have a moving truck with my face on it. And it says, buy or sell with me, use my truck for free. Okay? Fine, right? What do I do to be annoying? I drive my moving truck when it's not being used, and I go. And when the light turns green, you know what I do? I sit there. And I wait till all the cars behind me honking, and they driving around me, and they're all upset. But guess what they have to do to be upset? They have to look at the truck as they're passing by, flipping me off. Look at that face there on that. Read the side of that truck there. Then I go to the highway. What am I doing? I get in the fast lane, and I go about 45. Now all of the trucks and cars are, but guess what? They got to look at the truck to do it. They have to complain somewhere. And they remember my name. So maybe, hopefully, one day, someday, when I call them on the phone or I knock on their door, they'll say, you was the annoying one. No, I'm going to say, you were the one that was in a rush. You should slow down, buddy. And now we have a connection, right? But if I did not do that, if I wasn't willing to be annoying, I would never, ever, every single person I meet would have to be a brand new face. I don't like that. So go out there and be annoying, be talked about. When you go into restaurants, you're paying to be there. I'm gonna get something out of this bill. I'm tipping, I'm getting something. That's a cheap lead to buy. So what I do every single time I'm sitting down in a restaurant, on my way out, I stop by 2 or 3 tables. Hey, I don't mean to interrupt your dinner. Oh, that's good, by the way. But here's my card. If I can ever help, let me know. I have a goal to meet 5 people every single day. I don't care if you tell me you have a goal to meet 100 people every single day. They don't know. Just pick a number out. Just be realistic. Everybody wants to help somebody reach a goal. So just say, hey, here's my card. Thank you guys so much for being my 6th, 7th, 10th person to help me reach my goal. I hope you enjoy your dinner. If I can do anything for you, let me know. And here's the beautiful part of it. I put the card on the table and I leave. I don't even give them a chance to say anything. So they can't complain to me, complain to management. I probably won't come back to this restaurant anyways for another month, so they'll probably forget the next time I'm here. And I just do it again. That's the thinking you have to be on. And then, so when I do host my events, and you might say, what are your events, Q? In my marketplace, I don't buy leads. I don't spend any money on marketing and advertising and all this crazy stuff. I do events. And in Mississippi, if anybody look it up, you see them telling the truth. Mississippi is #1 in obesity. Yeah, I know. Ugh. I know that. So you know what I do? I go to the cheesecake place. I buy 500 slices of cheesecake. And I give it away to the first 500 Mississippians who are going to show up. And guess what happens? The line wraps around the building for cheesecake for the first 500 people. So now it took me from going to a neighborhood, from walking up and having to knock, to now bring 500 people to one location to me. And I give them a letter, just like the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Thank you so much for being one of my 500. Without you, this would not be possible. If there's anything I can ever do to help, you just let me know. But the entire time they're there to get cheesecake, you know what I'm doing? I'm being annoying Q. I'm going around, what kind of cheesecake are you getting? I'm taking a poll. What do you think is going to be the most cheesecake chosen today? Did you come to my event the last time? I'm asking all these questions. And then I'm making everybody take pictures. Take a picture, boom, hey, make sure you post that, tag me. So now I take $2,500 is what it cost me to do that event. 500 people come. Let's just say out of the 500, I probably take photos of maybe 300 of them. Let's just say 100 of those 300 actually post it online. Or let's just say 50, I don't care. And let's say those 50 have 500 friends at least on Facebook. We all know we have more than 500 friends on Facebook, right? Multiply now how many folks have seen my face and what I've done within the community. Just for spending $2,500 and actually being there, being present. So I made a physical impression on 500 people, and then online, on their social medias, on my social media, when they tag me, I've made I don't know how many impressions. And then the newspaper get involved. Oh, the guy bought 500 slices of cheesecake. we want to talk about it. Mississippi is the only place that they'll talk about somebody buying 500 slices of cheesecake. But then, 3 months later, you know what I do? I go to the pizza place, buy 500 boxes of pizza, $5 a pop, and do the same thing. So now I'm talked about all year long as the guy who gives back to the community. It costs me 10 grand a year to produce massive results from that. Those are some of the things that we need to be trying to do. And you might say, well, Q, I don't have $2,500 to spend. There's $2,500 in this room. Why are we so afraid to partner up and do something together? Are we thinking, oh, if I partner with Susie, she's going to take all of the clients? That's not how it works. Let me just tell you, there's a set group of folks out there, let me just say, who will only work with you. You just have to find them. They're not going to find you. You have to find them. So if you put on an event and 500 people show up, if you can't go on and make an impression on 5, 6, 7 of those folks, that's your fault, not Susie's. So think about what you guys can do within this marketplace that will leave an everlasting memory on someone else. Those are the things that drive business. Those are the things that allowed me to go from 106 houses my first year to 307 to number 2 agent to, and I can never get to number 1. You know why? Because there's a guy in California. Damn Californians. Jordan Cohen. He works with all of the athletes. I can't beat the guy. I can't. Sucks. So what did I do? I decided I was going to get a Florida license because I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this guy with all these high dollar price points, and my price point is only $250. Let me go to Florida. Let me go to Boca Raton, where the grass is greener and the opportunity is greener. Okay? I got a Florida license. There was so much hype about it, I didn't even end up going. Wasted all that time getting a Florida license. Then that's around the time Survivor came about. Right as I was thinking about going down there and actually kicking Joy's tail for once. Survivor came. And a lot of folks ask me now, Q, how was that experience? So, when you leave here today, this is what I want you to do. Go 12 days without eating, only water. That's how the experience went. Because that's what I went through. The first 12 days out there on the island, I didn't have food. I didn't have anything but water, no fire. My tribe sucked, if you haven't watched it. Like, we lost everything. We had one tribe, remember, I swear to God, lost her water bottle, her shoes, her glasses. How do you lose your glasses? They're on your face. So we lost everything when we was out there, okay? But the experience was something that taught me a lot about myself, about life, about people. We look over the small things that matter, like sitting in that chair. When you go home, being able to lay down in your bed. To wake up and say, you know what, I'm gonna eat 3 times a day, and I don't care who's watching. We take all that for granted. But we also take for granted the opportunity to be great every single day. Because we will allow a group of folks we've never ever met to walk right past us, and we do not show them our personality. We do not show them who we are as a person. It's not about showing them who you are as an agent, because what I believe in, you connect with people not to do business with them, but to build a relationship and a bond so you can do business with their circle. And when you approach it like that, now it's low pressure. On my schedule, it tells me, and I promise to get back to the Survivor talk. That's what some of you guys came for, I get it. But on my schedule, it tells me to follow up. What does that mean? Follow up. I go in my contact. By the way, this is my CRM. This is my website. Somebody just say, he got 2 phones. I know it. I can hear whispers. But my CRM and my website is here. I don't have all the fancy tools that most folks have and use, and I was okay when I first started without having it, so I just kept up with that trend. But figure out a system that works for you, and my follow-up system was, hey, start with A and go to F, or start with A and go to H on one day. And then the next week, from H on down, all the way through Z, to where I'm touching folks in my phone at least once a month. But what am I touching them with? Well, whatever is happening in that day is kind of what I want it to be related to. So if it's going to be cold, really cold, or if it's going to rain, or for the one-off time that we get it every single year, it's going to snow, I just send a message out to whatever that group is for that week. Hey, you guys, we're supposed to get snow this week. Make sure you're opening your cabinets, dripping your faucets. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. And some of them respond, some of them don't. The only thing I like to see over and over and over again is my message to show up blue for the iPhone users, because that means they didn't block me, all right? If it starts showing up green, I got a problem. I got to get another phone and text them from. That's all it is. But what we want to do is we want to touch those folks in a way that we're not pressuring them to do anything business. Because again, we're trying to build a connection with them to do business with the people they know. And when we start doing that, you'll start seeing the referrals to kind of overflow. I don't pressure anyone to do anything. In fact, when I do my events, as you might know, and a lot of folks say, well, Q, you're doing it wrong. Well, tell me that 5 years ago. I don't even capture the folks who actually come. I give them the letter, I give them my business cards. The folks who actually want to do something, guess what? They're going to reach out if I'm their person. Some of them just coming for the cheesecake and the pizza. I get it. We're in Mississippi. But a lot of them are coming because they're supporting what I'm doing. They're catching on to what I'm doing. They're meeting. And I tell every single agent in my marketplace, if one of your clients comes to my event, you can cancel Christmas, because they'll never view you the same. That's just my confidence in myself and the way that I'm going to approach them. You guys have to have that same confidence, because I can promise you this, and I'm not sure where I am on time. I'm sort of the type of guy, I talk, and then I feel like, you know what, I think I'm over the limit. But I want to tell everybody this. If I can do it, so can you. I had a goal that I wanted to have 30 houses by the time I was 30. Almost like saying I wanted to buy a house for every single year I was born, that my parents couldn't afford to buy me one. I did not grow up from anything wealth related. My parents never made more than $40,000 in a year. You're talking about feeding 17 mouths, including their own. It was tough. So I set a goal. I wanted to have 30 houses by the time I was 30. And I was committed to that. We have to set goals that keeps the motivation going. So my first year was to prove everybody wrong, that I can actually make 500 grand in my first year. The second year was to prove it to myself that it wasn't a fluke. The third year was to prove it to that guy in California that pinnacle can be reached. The fourth year was to also prove it to myself that it wasn't a fluke. My fifth year in the business, other folks might ask, what did you do then? So I did an experiment. That's the same year that I was going on Survivor. So I said, you know what? I know I'm leaving. What I want to do is I want to see how much business will just come to me naturally. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to make a call. I'm not going to door knock. I'm not going to do an event. I'm just going to wait for my phone to ring to see whether or not what I've built is actually something. That year, I did less business, of course, which to be expected. I had a lot of fun. But I still, in Mississippi, and I tell folks this because, you know, it is what it is. I don't sugarcoat. I still did $700,000 in GCI without doing anything on my business. So what did I learn then? The business is not about me. It's about working smart, working hard, showing up, making connections. Regardless if I'm physically there or not, something will still happen. And I ask folks all the time, are you so connected to your business that you're afraid to leave? Do you think if you leave, things are just going to stop? Test that theory. See if what you've built is actually there. And then try to see how you can make it pivot and grow. So my 6th year, which was this past year, of course, you follow the trends now. I had to have a prove it year to myself that it wasn't a fluke. And it was within 30 grand of the previous year. So now I understand what sort of a business that will come if I do nothing, but I also understand if I was to do something, what's attainable within my marketplace as well. But I was so focused now on buying 30 houses before I was 30, I was going broke every single month. Broke. Every time I have a great month, I would buy a house, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house. I started buying houses 3 years ago, and now I have 51 doors. And it's one of those things that truly allows me to say, you know what? I have my retirement built up. I have my future built up. And it's because I was willing to do the right things with the funds as they were coming in, but also the right thing about people on my way to where I was going. How many of you have actually started to think about what 5, 10 years now looks like for you if for some reason you could not sell real estate? Don't make the mistake that I've seen all over the country where agents, they have a lot of success, but they yet put any dime back towards the future by investing in what you do, real estate. So I encourage you guys, try to buy at least one, and then try to get 2, and then try to set a goal of however many you want to make sure you have the retirement that you deserve, because that's overlooked so often. All right, so now, Survivor. How did I get on? I was watching, and Jeff comes on the screen. If you want to be on Survivor, apply. I'm sitting on my couch, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I whipped my phone out. I was talking on the screens, telling him my story, telling him why I think I would be great for Survivor. Submitted the video. Me and my wife and her family, her parents, sisters, brothers, we went to Mexico. I get a call from a California number. All these damn Californians. Hate them. I get a call from a California number. Typically I don't answer it, but I answered it. Hey, what's up? Hey, Q, this is such and such with Survivor. I'm thinking, bullshit. Come on, what do you want? And it was like, no, this is, okay, cool. So we went through the whole process. They want your DNA. They want your social security number. They want your firstborn child. To get on that show, it is extremely hard of a process to go through, interview after interview after, okay, I think I did well. Oh, you got another Zoom call, got another interview call with this person, this executive, this person. So it went on for about a month and a half, 2 months. Then you have to do all of the testing. They fly you out to LA. You go through a swim test in a swimming pool that you can stand up in. You think that's compared to the ocean in Fiji? What if I got here and drown? You didn't test that theory well. But hey, we do it. We don't understand. And then they got a call and told me I was on. From the second I was on, I was just so excited. Get out there to Fiji. First day. We're driving in, those boats where the season first start, and Jeff was giving the whole overview, and we're on these little cool boats. Worst experience ever. That process right there took about 6 hours. and open water in the ocean and a boat sitting on an uncomfortable seat, and it's raining hard. And then Jelinski, we had to stop twice because he has to throw up. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Let's get this over. But then we get to the shore, of course. We go to the challenge. We get to the sweat challenge. And we're taking the water up and down the hill, dumping it into the bucket. Let me just say, we were never going to finish that challenge. And they say they tested it. The dream team finished. Bullshit, I don't think so. I don't think the dream team finished that either. But what ended up happening, of course, we voted Jelinski out first because he quit in the sweat challenge. We went on, and from that, it started the losing for Yanu. We lost pretty much every single challenge up until it was down to just 3 of us. 3 people on the tribe trying to survive and beat tribes of 6 and 5. We got our first meal on day 13. Muffins, cupcakes, and everything else that makes your stomach hurts. No substance. Water and coconut is all we kind of had out there on the island. And a lot of folks wonder, do they sneak you snacks in the back? No. They can't even talk to you. And it was one person, cameraman, he was there every single morning. He had the morning shift. He was coming out there with watermelon bubble gum. You could smell that from a mile away. And I'm telling you, it took everything in me not to attack this guy because I'm smelling watermelon bubble gum, and I hadn't eaten in 12 days. All right? But, it was a fun journey. I learned a lot about me. I learned, when I'm home, I need to put my phone away, be present. When I go out to eat with my wife, I need to actually eat with my wife versus taking phone calls and checking my messages and all these different things. I need to check in on my parents a lot more. I need to be there for my siblings a lot more. Those are the things that's going through my head when I'm out there. I need to step back and just really, really enjoy life a lot more. And I'm telling you guys, we need to do this every single day. And that's why that 168 is so important. That's why the first half of that is non-negotiable. Because that's what keeps you sane. That's what keeps you in this business. All right? I want to just end with this right here. For me, what I live by is when you come from nothing, you should stop at nothing to create something that nothing can disrupt. Are you willing to go out there and create something that no matter what's going on in the market, it can't stop you? Guys, thank you so much for your time. I know we have Q&A next.
Thanks, Q. How was that? Good stuff. We wanted to just take a few minutes and offer up an opportunity for you to all ask questions of Q about doing business. I'm sure there's going to be some survivor questions, things like that. We got people in the audience with mics. We have at least 3 or 4 mics. So if you would like to ask Q about how he did his business, his journey, who he had to beat up to get breakfast every morning, whatever you want to ask, raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. And make sure you speak your question into your mic so everybody out there on the internet can hear the question as well. And let's fire away.
Hey, I'm Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Mentors, role models, especially when you were little with the parachute and the ankle weights.
Yep. So mentors, role models when I was small. To be honest, when I was growing up, I looked up to my dad a lot, just from the standpoint of I understood early on kind of why he wasn't at all of the football games, and but it's not the role model, the equation you would think. Everything that I've done, I've kind of equated it to doing the opposite of what I actually grew up with and seen. Whereas my dad had 17 kids, I have 1 now, and I'm 30, and I'm thinking like, okay, do I get to 2, 3 before I just stop? I'm not going to 17. My dad worked 30 hours a day if he could. I didn't want to do that. But then also just not having, wanting to be the first was enough motivation to me that I did not have many role models to kind of look up to, because most of the folks are doing the same things in my community. And what happened was a lot of folks would say, hey, Q, why you didn't look out? Well, for me, I've always been a person to say, you know what? I don't want to look up to someone that I don't really know and recognize and know what they're doing behind the scene or what they're going through on a day-to-day basis just based on what I'm seeing. So I wasn't the type to gravitate towards folks. And that's probably why, all my life up until now, I've never smoked, never drank. And I was at Ole Miss, one of the partiest schools in the country, and all they do is smoke and drink. And because I did not look up to folks in that way, I think allowed me to go to college and be myself and be different always. But also I didn't think that stuff would help me anyways with what I was doing. But to answer your question, I think it was just more so my surroundings was the biggest role model to me to say, you know what, I want to change this, and this is the reason why. And that kept me running from everything that I had ever seen and done to be able to do something great. Yep.
You have done such an amazing job in real estate and obviously are somebody to look up to. And just hearing that right there and keeping yourself out of trouble just
Yes,
by
ma'am.
instinct. So this is not a real estate question.
Okay.
Because it's really important to me because I see you and I think, gosh, you've had so much experience in your 30 years. What are you doing in your community to give back?
Yep.
What do you volunteer? How do you volunteer? What do you do?
Great question. So a lot of my events, believe it or not, is a way to give back because I'm bringing all these folks in together. Yes, is there a component of business related to it? Yeah, but also, kids, I give away bikes, I mentor, I go to the schools, I talk to them, I show them a reason to continue to want to be kids, to be successful. I let them know that, being an athlete is tough. Not everyone can make it doing that, but everyone can make it if you was to say, you know what, I'm gonna think about going further with my brain than I do with my legs. So I think most of it is a lot of this, a lot of traveling to places like this, also giving back, telling my story to hopefully to inspire one person. That's the same thing that I'm doing within my marketplace. And we have the days where we go to the park with the kids and everyone comes and show up, and we do the bikes every single year. And those things are not attached to my real estate business at all. It's just Q the person. But doing that, and everybody knows now, Q's in real estate, it brings some sort of a business aspect to it as well. So just making sure I'm there present, I'm showing up, the kids have access to me. A lot of folks, of course, that look up to me now that didn't because of Survivor. So a lot of folks have questions and they want to take pictures and they want to talk about it more and more and more. And a lot of these players, they cut themselves off to the public. I don't do that. I make sure I still show up to the schools. I make sure I still go up there and just hang out and do that thing within my community. Yep.
Another question in the back.
Hi, you've had a lot of success, obviously, but I was wondering, where are some aspects that you are still finding that you're struggling with? Or when you get into a rut, how do you find that you are pulling yourself out of that?
Yeah, so believe it or not, the struggle for me was stopping, slowing down. That was a struggle, saying no to opportunities that I should have said yes to. But at the same time, the days where things just not clicking, I understood that, I'm going to hear no. But it only takes one yes to make all those no's just go away and mean nothing. And my focus every single day was to get to 99 no's. Because if I was so caught up and attached to the yeses, if I got one of two yeses, I would stop. But if I attested to say, you know what, I want to get 99 no's, regardless of how many yeses I got, I kept going. So the days that it was tough and I was getting my no's, in my mind, I thought, this is just my way to my 99 before I get to my one yes. So I have to continue. There's no stopping. I don't have a plan B. I know this works. I have to figure it out. And then if I get through my call session and nothing, that's when on my schedule you'll see, go to a location, pass out 50 business cards. But it got to a point to where I did not have that problem because when I started to pick up builders, the inventory just kept coming. And I did that from a standpoint of, I would go pick a subdivision that had 40, 50 brand new houses to come, and I would make it my business to sell 8 or 9 of the 40 houses with buyers, just to get that builder's attention to say, you know what, this guy was on 9 contracts in this 40 lot subdivision. What are you doing to bring that much activity to this area? Give me a listing and I'll show you. Give me 2 listings and I'll show you. And then it turns into builders now giving me their entire subdivisions. But to get to that point, I had to grind it. I had to find creative ways to market that area. I had to go out there and sit in the subdivision all day when people just riding through. I would jump out of my car. Hey, you want to go ahead and check this one out? Let's go. You have an agent? Nope, I can show it to you. I'm the agent on duty. And I wasn't even the agent on duty. I was just sitting in my car waiting for folks. That's what it took. But to overcome some of my struggles, I will say it was just more so, for me, my struggles hasn't ever been about buyers and sellers. It's always been about agents. Because when I started to have success, I had a bunch of jealousy within my marketplace and dealing with agents. So I had to just learn and teach myself that, hey, look, it comes with success. I have to do deals with these folks. I have to figure out a way that I can coexist with some of these folks. But it's really not about them. It's not about me. It's about the consumer. And as long as I was making them happy, I was happy with whatever else came with it. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, but traditionally speaking, I don't stress. So when something did not go well, I just figured out a way to continue to move forward until I got a positive result, and that's all I thought about. Yep. Yeah. You got the mic.
Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy to you.
My daughter went to Ole Miss, same
There we
year
go.
as you. So you're 30,
Yep.
which is pretty young. Do you have any goals now? I mean, you're so young. So what are
Yep.
your goals from being so young? Now you got so many years to live.
So goal number 1 is to be more present at home, to be a dad. So I didn't tell you guys this, but in January, I kind of announced my retirement from selling real estate from a standpoint. Now, will that last a year, 2 years, 2 months? I don't know. I'm just enjoying the freedom of not having my phone attached to me, not going on this appointment and that. But my goal really is to now live life and inspire others and show folks what is possible within our marketplace. Because so many times, everyone, they think, I can't do it here. Yes, you can. You can do it in Mississippi. You can do it in Memphis. You can do it in Indiana. You just have to put the time, effort, and work in. So my goal is to continue to inspire folks to do that, but then also just kind of enjoy. Because my first 6 years, to be honest with you guys, it was all trying to get my family ahead. And I missed a lot of opportunities to go on vacation and to do certain things that now I'm just like, you know what? Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. That's where my focus lies currently. Right here.
We have an online viewer asking if you work a specific schedule or hours throughout the day.
Yep. So I don't look at time. Again, I didn't even know how long I was speaking, but I guess we was right on track. But I don't do anything in increments of time. I do it in increments of activity. So on my Instagram page, I have a board, and it tells me Monday, do 1, 2, 3. And I do it in that order. Now, that thing might be call 200 people. There might be 200 past clients. There might be 200 new people. And then the next category might be go pass out 25 business cards. And then the next category might be rest. Then the next day it might be check in with, so it tells me the activities to do. When I do them, it's totally up to me. So I might wake up some mornings, my alarm goes off every single day at 4:30, and I get up and I go get in my cold plunge. Todd did his cold plunge this morning. But go get in my cold plunge, go work out, come back home, go to sleep. But my schedule has changed a lot now since my son. But then from there, it's like, if I get to the office at 9, I'm gonna do my first thing on my schedule to do, then I'm gonna try to work my way through it. If I'm done by 12, also I go home, or if I start at 3 and go to 7 at night. So it's just doing my activities, because the first thing folks do when they start to put time, hey, I wanna do X, Y, Z by 10 o'clock, and life happens and now it's 10:30, now they're looking at it like, dang, I'm behind. Dang, I'm not gonna get that done. But for me, it's just do 1, 2, 3, regardless of the time. So I don't have a set hours. Now, I will say this. I have never, ever, ever taken my laptop home. Never. I've never, ever worked from home on anything dealing with real estate. Again, I don't even take my laptop home. The only reason I took my laptop here is because I have a meeting at 12 and I had to have my laptop with me. But typically my laptop stays in my office plugged up, and then clients understand, like, when I leave the office, whatever it is, it gets done the next day. I'm sorry, I'm not going back to the office that day. It's not that important. Same thing with, you can't access your doctor after he leaves, so same thing with that. So hopefully I answered that person's question. I know you had a question right here, right?
Would you elaborate a little bit on the BS time?
Yep, BS time. It's exactly what it is. You can use that time for anything that's not related to business. So if you want to sit at your house and watch YouTube videos for 4 or 5 hours a day, that's totally fine, because it's within your BS time schedule. You have to figure out when, of course, you can do that. But the BS time is to be used for anything that you think that you've missed within your schedule, because what folks don't understand is you only have so many hours that your brain can handle working on something that's not fun. I mean, just be honest. So if you're gonna start spending your BS time just to gain more time in real estate, eventually what you're gonna do is overwork yourself. Try to figure out what you have left over for work and limit it to that. Be great within those hours. And be confident that you're doing the right things within those hours, that you can spend the rest of your 168 doing the things that you truly, truly want to do in life. So use that BS time for strictly BS. Go to the park, I don't care. Use it for something other than work. Did that answer your question? Yep. Perfect.
I got a question.
Yes.
All right, Survivor question. Big fan. I've applied. Never happened. Surprise, surprise. But got a question for you, okay? So on the show, you had the hoodie flipped down. What'd you call it, the Q-skirt?
Q-skirt.
Q-skirt. Have you sold any?
Oh, yeah. We've sold a good bit of Q-skirts. A lot of folks wanted me to make an official Q-skirt. I got a hoodie, and they can flip it down as a Q-skirt if they want.
Yeah.
What folks don't realize is I'm busier than you think, so I don't have time to design a Q-skirt and all that. Now, my Q hat have sold, and then I'm not sure if you guys know what Cameo is. I call them Cumeos. I sell a bunch of Cumeos and all that, but the Q-skirt has been a thing that folks ask about everywhere I go. Somebody asked me this morning on a Cumeo that they're having a wedding, and their entire attire is Q-skirt. And they're actually inviting me to the wedding to wear my Q-skirt. And I'm actually thinking about going, because it'll be pretty cool, But yeah, the Q-skirt is still a thing.
Thank you. Second question I have for you is the whole fiasco with you and Liz, right?
Yep.
Ooh, the Applebee's reward. First of all, I thought you handled yourself well.
Well, thank you.
Based on her reaction, you were pretty chill. Have you guys spoken since Survivor?
We have, actually. So after it all happened, and after Liz, we got back and, it aired, we talked. Liz actually contacted me about investment strategies, and she wanted advice on. And I was telling her, for my son, we're gonna buy him a house every single year. Which the day he was born, we closed on a house the very next day as a rental property, put it in an LLC named after him, and we're gonna do that every single year. So I was talking to her about that and telling her how to kind of set it up and how to set up a trust. And then she ended up buying her daughter, actually, her first rental property. Just based on us talking, and motivated her to do that. So it was awesome. And the whole Applebee's thing, I mean, Liz had to understand, first and foremost, when everyone else changed their vote to Hunter, you kept your vote Q. You think I'm taking you to Applebee's? Absolutely not. You can cancel Christmas. That's not happening. So she was upset. She was mad. And, you know, like I told her, it is what it is. I picked the vote. But what they did not show is, so Kenzie and Maria both was trying to give up their spot for Liz. And I was like, nope. If you want to give up your spot, you can go back over there and I'll pick somebody else. Or else, Jeff, can we go, please? And it was like that. So that didn't get shown, but folks did try to give up their spot for Liz. But in that moment, I just did not want Liz to go have Applebee's. So I wanted the reward. I get to choose. It was very entertaining. Yeah. And now what I should have done is, because at that point everybody hated me, I should have won the reward and said, Jeff, I'm going by myself. I'm not taking anybody. That would have been crazy. I don't think that's ever been done. But I wasn't thinking like that at the time. Yeah, appreciate you, boss. Any other questions? Yep.
On your events that you mentioned, how do you set those up? I mean, there's more than just handing out cheesecake, right?
100%. So what we do is we try to, like say for instance, if I wanted to do it in March, we would start probably advertising it. Let's say the date is March 15th. We would probably start to put stuff out about it like February 1st. You know, hey, mark your calendars, March 15th, 500 slices of cheesecake to the first 500 people. And I go in, and whatever business, it's normally a local business, I negotiate a price based on the budget that I'm trying to hit. The cheesecake is normally like $8, $9 a slice. Because I'm buying 500 of them, I negotiate the price down to $5 per cheesecake because I have to get the owner to understand when these folks come, they're gonna get my free slice, but they're gonna also buy a coffee, a cookie, another slice of cheesecake potentially. So now you're talking about doing a massive deal of business in one day, which they agreed, so they give me the better price. From there, I asked that company to, of course, advertise on their social media, spread the word, the owner, whoever it is, to the community the best way that they can. And then I do the same on top of, you know, when I go to Kroger and all these places, I just pass them out and put them on the bulletin board, free cheesecake. But most of it is handled on social media, especially once the cheesecake place say, you know, hey, free cheesecake on this day to the first 500 people. That kind of sells itself, and then the newspaper get involved, which I don't call the newspaper. They just kind of, hey, we want to ask you about what it is that you're doing. This is so nice. Then they put out, so that goes to everybody. So the marketing of it kind of take care of itself. The day of course, the cheesecake place has their staff there. I have my assistant. We type up, we use the same letter now, but we just print out 500 of them. And they all say, you know, hey, thank you for being one of my 500, whatever. We staple a business card to them. We take it to the cheesecake place. They put it in the bags when the folks are checking out to buy. We don't have to deal with that. All I do is I'm interacting with folks inside, outside. I'm going out to the back of the line, asking questions like, hey, do you think you're going to make the cutoff? Do you think you're number 500? I'm just doing anything to be interactive. So to set it up, it's literally just, of course, picking your place, negotiating that price, and then marketing that event, and then waiting for the folks to show up. Yep.
We're just about out of time. Q, I got a couple quick questions.
Yep.
I loved how you talked about defining activities that drive business versus just servicing business. I talk about it all the time. If I've hired anybody in here, I've talked to you about it. But we get busy servicing. You get showings, buyers, closings, calls, inspection responses, everything. When you get really busy doing this number of units, and your schedule starts to fill up, how do you protect this time, or at least carve out time to do these activities? How do you do that when you get 10 calls in a day and they want to schedule stuff and your week's getting booked up? How do you deal with that?
Yep. So I'm very, very strict on my time. So say for instance, if it's Monday and someone calls me and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and for some reason I'm out of time for real estate for that day, I'm just gonna book them to tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday. And if they cannot do that, if it's a situation of, oh no, I have to meet today, I'm just probably not the guy for the job then. And I explained to him why it's like that, because I only have a certain capacity in order for me to deliver the service that I want to display for you guys. I cannot overdo it. You don't want me to overdo it. You don't want me to be tired coming into your house. You don't want me to be tired marketing your property. So please respect that tomorrow is the best time for the both of us to get the most out of this experience. And when you set that up on the front end, the first couple of times it's difficult, it's hard, but eventually it becomes just natural. And he asked, well, how do you do it, Q? Well, first and foremost, I hired my assistant. And a lot of folks always ask me, Q, what is your assistant's job? Well, it's real simple. She does everything that I don't want to do. So my non-productive hours is really spent with her doing it, so I don't even have that really in my schedule. But the great thing about the non-productive hours is if I don't have to do it and she's doing it, I don't add it more to the productive side. You can only be productive for so many hours and drive that business. But it's all about setting boundaries, just making sure everybody understands upfront what to expect. And what to expect is just, hey, you call me, I want to set the appointment, but it comes a time where it's no miles for the day. And I tell folks all the time with this, I use it for folks who work with a lot of buyers. If you're showing 5 or 6 buyers and you know your non-productive activity time, you only have 3 hours a day for it, you can't show 3 or 4 different buyers in that day, as you shouldn't, because you're not actually having quality showings when you do it that way. So schedule it out to make these buyers understand why it's in their best interest. If you have one buyer who wants to see 10 houses, trim the fat. Pick me your top 3. Let's go see those. Let's go focus on those. For some reason, if you don't like any of those 3 once we're done, let's go back to the drawing board, because these were your top 3. Maybe it's something in the search that we need to change. Now that saves you from showing 5, 6, 7 houses to one person. I've never done that. I always limit to at least the top 3, and that it saves me time to be able to go do some of the other things I need to do.
Okay, great. One last question. Do they pay you to go on Survivor?
Yes, they pay you.
All right.
But it's not a thing of you're on the show, they pay you to come. You get paid based on your placement. And then, of course, if you win the $1 million. So, yep.
Okay, let's give Q a big round. Oh, we have one more question? I'm sorry. Amy, go ahead.
Hi. Can you can hear me. I'm Amy from Trademark Title.
Yes, ma'am.
And I was so impressed listening to your numbers and how hard you worked. Personally, have never been more jealous of a title rep in Mississippi in all of my life. But then you said you announced your retirement. And my question is, you put so much work into building that book of business. Even if you announce your retirement, it doesn't mean the referrals stop coming in.
Correct.
So what have you put in place? Because no one wants to see that hard work trickle down with somebody else who's not going to handle it the way you have handled it. So what have you put in place so that your referral base is taken as care of as if it were you still doing it?
Good question. So my rule right now is if it's an agent-to-agent referral, I'll work it, I'll take it, or what I'd at least try to do is provide them with an agent that I would work with. And I tell them, hey, if you talk to them and they feel like it don't work, I will do it. Trust me, I want to take care of this for you. But when I make a decision to do something, I kind of stick to that decision just from the standpoint of, to me now, it's no longer about deals. It's no longer about income. It's no longer about chasing the next and continuing this legacy, because this is what I believe. I believe in 6 months, in 2 years, 3 years, if I was to say, you know what, I want to get things back going, I think I'm able to jump back in it and have the same level of success, just from the standpoint of I'm no longer starting back from zero. I'm starting back from experience, and I know where to go, how to go, and I know as long as I continue to do and do and do, eventually it's going to work again. So I don't have a fear and I'm missing out and I'm losing out on anything because I have enough confidence in myself to say, if I want it to be X, I can have it that way based on what I'm willing to do to get there. So some of the clients I've had, this week, some folks who, hey, you sold my sister's house and I just tell them, hey, look, I'm gonna send you an agent that's actually still active there that's gonna service you a lot better than I can at this point in time. I'll be alone to answer your questions for a while, but you should really look into working with this agent because they're in it full time. And there's a lot of other things that I'm doing with my time that I have to be committed to saying no. And again, to go back to it, the toughest part that I had to deal with was to get to that point, to say no, to say, you know what, I've made a decision and this is final and this is how I look at it. And, I made that decision. Yes, my rental properties, they pay me a whole bunch of money. My Amazon trucks, they pay me a whole bunch of money. So it's not about the money anymore. I'm not chasing any more awards. So I can say no and not have any regrets about it. Yep. I know a lot of folks say, well, dude, you're crazy. You're leaving a lot on the table. But I'm also taking a lot off the table to put more on my table with my family, my friends, my community, you guys, and everything else. I'll trade that any day at this point in time in my life.
What a way to finish. Thanks, Q. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Hey, a couple quick things. We're going to have some people around the audience, and when you're leaving, Q's going to stick around out back if you want to get your photo with him. Please do so. Post to your network. Let them know you're investing in yourself. Tag success in real estate. My takeaways today, and he said it right at the end, it's not about the time, it's about what you put into the time. So the time doesn't mean anything, it's what you do with the time. And then he also broke down, you need to figure out what activities drive your business and what activities don't. Because everybody feels good when they're busy, but most of the time, you're busy not accomplishing much. So you got to figure that out. You got to get disciplined, break it down, and spend more time on the activities that drive your business. So great message. Super pumped Q were here. You were great. Let's give him another huge round of applause. As always, to finish the day, we got a raffle and we got some giveaways. So I'm going to draw a few names here. We've got 7 books that are all totally in line with his message today. And so I'm going to draw names here. And if you hear your name, come on up and Barb will deliver you the book. Our first winner, I'm going to mispronounce this, Danye? Downhay. You are the winner. You get, what was that? One Small Change. Amazing book. Okay, next winner. What book do we have next? Oh, The 1 Minute Manager. Here we go. Sam Snyder. Sam, is Sam in the house? All right. Here you go. Yep. All right, our next winner. Gemma. I know Gemma's here somewhere. The Gap and the Gain. One of my all-time favorite books. You're going to love it. Thank you. All right, next winner is... 10X. I know Bob just read this one. Tendala Jackson. Is Tendala here? Anywhere? All right, great. Another great book. One of my favorites. Let me drop that there. What do we have here? The Energy Bus. I wish we could just plug into Q and get some of his energy, we'd get a lot more done. Bob Cayley, right up front here. All right, we got 2 more to go. Oh, exactly what to say for real estate agents. We just did a book club on this. Awesome book. Tony Pasillo, you're the winner. Is Tony back here somewhere? He's right here. Great book, Tony. Is this the last one? Okay, and our last one, another great book on discipline, time management, atomic habits. Jennifer Jensen, in the house somewhere. She's right over here. Okay, great. One last time, a big shout out and thanks to our sponsors, Hallmark Home Mortgage, Trademark, thank you, Amy. Tell Adam we said thanks. And then Scott. Scott's here somewhere. Scott Kellenberger with Home Warranty Inc. Thank you, guys. Yes. Nice. Did you guys hear that? Free Cookie Cottage cookie for the first 50 at the trademark table. So anyway, thank you all for being here. It was a great event. Big shout out to Q. He brought it today. Have a great year, and we'll keep you posted on our next event. Take care.